I'm Anil Kumar, and in this list of videos we are discussing absolute value function. Let us now discuss how to solve equations involving absolute functions. So let me give you a few examples and then we'll discuss them one by one. Simplest form would be absolute x equals to some value. Let us take the value as 7. We could also write one equation like absolute value of x minus 3 equals to, let us say, 10. And let me write down one equation with positive thing. X plus 5 is, let us say, equals to 0, right? So we have three different kinds of equations. All of them involve absolute function. How to solve such equations? That is the main idea. Now, whenever you have absolute functions to solve, think like this. Inside part could be positive or negative value, right? Absolute value will always return a positive value. That's the whole idea. So we could say that x is equals to either positive 7 or negative 7, or I could like this, right? Negative 7. Both gives us the solution. Well, this one straight gives us the solution. We can write down our answer as x equals to plus minus 7, right? So that was kind of simple. How do we do this? Well, the strategy is still the same. We could write x minus 3 as positive 10 and as negative 10, right? So we will again have two solutions as we had earlier. One equation will be x minus 3 equals to 10. The other one will be x minus 3 equals to minus 10. So you can solve. It gives us x equals to 10 plus 3, which is 13. And this one gives you x equals to minus 10 plus 3, which is minus 7. So again we get two solutions, x equals to minus 7 and 13, right? Simple as that. I mean to say, this is as simple as I'm showing you here. X plus 5 equals to 0. Now that means that x plus 5 equals to plus 0. I mean 0 does not have a sign, right? So here we'll get only one solution. So x plus 5 could only be 0. So that gives you a solution as x equals to minus 5, correct? So we have one solution in this particular case. So what do we see in these cases? That if it is equal to 0, since 0 is kind of taken as positive, we do not have negative 0. So we have one solution. But if x absolute value of any function is positive, then we expect two solutions when solving an equation, right? Now let me give you a few more examples, and these ones are the tricky ones. Let us say we have x minus 3 equals to negative 1. In that case, what are our solutions? And if we have something like absolute of x divided by x equals to, let us say, negative 1, in that case, what is the solution? Now these two are tricky questions for you. You can actually pause the video, answer the question, right? Now here, the first one, which is x minus 3 is negative 1. We know absolute function is non-negative, right? It is non-negative, correct? Since absolute function is non-negative, we want negative 1, we have no solution, right? So in this case, we have no solution, correct? Now in this particular case, we want minus 1 as our result when we divide absolute x by x. How do we solve this one? Well, to solve this equation, we could think like we were thinking earlier, that absolute x could be positive or negative, correct? So of x, correct? So in that case, what happens? In that case, we might just get the solution, right? So what I recommend in this particular case is that you rewrite absolute x as a piecewise function, as we were doing always, right? So here you could say absolute x is equals to plus x when x is greater than or equal to 0, negative x when x is less than 0, right? So we have to solve for these two cases. Now if x is greater than or equal to 0, then it is x. So I could write this equation as x over x when x is greater than equals to 0, and I could write this equation as minus x over x when x is less than, it should be less than 0, like this. Now you can clearly see here that, so clearly we get that when x is greater than equal to 0, it is 1. X over x is 1. So what we get here is that the solution is 1 when x is greater than equal to 0 and minus 1 when x is less than 0. Do you get the idea? So the solution for this is that x belongs to real numbers where x is less than 0. So that becomes part of solution. Now this is kind of complicated, and such examples we are going to further explore in the coming videos. I hope that gives you an